Hey everybody, I'm Laura DiCarlo of Career Directors International. If you're currently thinking about starting, or actively building a resume writing or career coaching business, I am so glad you've joined me today. In this show, we share tools, strategies, and mindset tips that lead to your ultimate success without the stress. We are currently streaming on CDI's Facebook page, YouTube channel, and LinkedIn page. But listen, I am not going to ask you to go give permission here or there. I'm just going to ask when you comment in the chat that you include your full name the first time so we can know whether we're going to see LinkedIn user or it's going to display your name. I never like just talking into the void to people who I don't know who it is. So do me that favor and we will be great. And listen, if you don't know me yet, my goal is to become your not so secret superpower. At Career Directors International, we provide everything you need to love and excel at what you do so you can make a difference while also earning an exceptional living as a career industry professional. Now, let me just stick our topic up here today. We're continuing talking about results from the second Critical Industry Analysis Survey for 2024. And today we're talking about marketing's role in that success. So before we get into that, I want to ask you to do three things. First of all, tell me who you are in the chat. Again, include your full name and maybe where you are tuning in from. Second, if you have questions, want to participate in this event with me as I ask questions going forward, please use the chat. It's so wonderful not to feel isolated just talking into the void. And third, if you like what you hear and want to make sure you don't miss out, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. We are meeting every Wednesday at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. Okay, let's get to it. If you are ready, give me a let's get started or a go in the chat. I'm not seeing any introductions yet, so I will just go ahead and move forward. Let me just take this caption down real quickly here. Okay. All right. So in our prior two shows, we've discussed the perceived role of AI in business success, and we've also talked about revenue trends. So as a recap, we showed that the majority of businesses were increasing revenue or staying the same in the past year, and that those with increasing revenue were especially less concerned about AI over other levels. We also showed I believe it was a 2% drop in those whose revenue declined in the past year over the prior year. So to me, that's very positive information. And today we're going to move on and to start talking about actual marketing functions and their role. So ironically, it turns out that even though we segmented this year, we did 3 separate surveys based on whether your income was declining, staying the same, or increasing, compared to the prior year when we did it all in one survey and had to spend like 50 hours going through the data. This year we did 3, and that was great, but we never asked how many marketing methods people were using. So we still ended up doing a lot of number crunching to pull this together, but I still felt it was valuable to be able to see this. So in looking at the data, I'm going to say I'm still holding to the same line as last year, that much of success and whether you're growing or not really has a dependent factor on marketing. So marketing is a huge topic. We have to take it in pieces. So we're only going to be just talking about its role this week, and in future shows, we're going to get into what's specifically working. So if you're ready, I'm still not seeing anything in the chat. Give me a ready. Let me know you're here and you're excited to get this information going. And while you do that, I will go ahead and pull up my slides. All right, and I have to take down this border so we can see them all. And okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about, the correlation between percentage of change in marketing and business performance, the role of outsourcing marketing on career service business growth or decline, and whether the volume of marketing techniques applied has bearing on success. Okay, so in this first chart, we are looking at the correlation between percentage of change in marketing in the past year and business performance in 2024. So The points I want to make here are that those with revenue increasing seem to be making the greatest amount of changes based on the market group that did participate in the survey from CDI. To me, it feels very telling that we're seeing that there were none who completely stayed the same from 2023 to 2024 in the growing category, and that 88% of them changed at least 31%, all the way up to the potentially 100% change in what they were doing in marketing. We do see a decided percentage of those declining who are making greater effort this year. Now, I want to stress, I am not speaking to anyone specifically, because taking action is the first big important step. But with this data today, we're not analyzing factors in regards to like how effectively they're being deployed, the marketing techniques, or how consistently. So let's say if you count that you are consistently posting on LinkedIn as a strategy, and that really means, maybe you're posting once a week, you're not engaging and connecting, maybe your content's not as fresh and polarizing as it could be, it's not going to have much ROI. It can feel like you're busy, but it still might not equate success. It takes time, consistency, and originality to build up that following. And to be quite honest, that's not that I'm even saying that posting alone is a super effective strategy today. We know how popular and saturated the LinkedIn platform has become. And it's like once everybody is there, you don't get that ROI that you did initially. I'm also wondering if those who've stayed the same, it looks like 60% haven't changed any further than 30% of what they're doing. Maybe they haven't grown as much because so many of them are continuing to do what they have done before, while the world and how people buy and make purchase decisions has so gravely changed. All right, so maybe you want to let me know in the chat, where are you falling in terms of changing your marketing in the past year, or what your thoughts are on what you're seeing here. And let me go to the next chart. Okay, so our next chart is the role of outsourcing marketing. And again, I do think this is pretty telling. So this is interesting. I'm going to guess that it's more about probably people feeling lack of discretionary spending in our current world market that's led to so little outsourcing expense in the past year. Because I do recall it was higher last year. We didn't see so many grouped in the less than 10%. Now, I do love that our industry is so much relationship based, and so much can be done with free and low cost DIY platforms. But I think I would caution here that so much of the world has moved forward to buying from social media ads, or expecting to connect on social platforms, or wanting to see you here and there, that there's a big time gap in what a solopreneur can do if they also have a busy practice. And if you're not busy and you have the time to put in now, when you get busy, marketing often can get sidelined, and it kind of becomes a hurry up and wait repeating cycle. You rush to fulfill all the work and you do no marketing, and then you've got to do marketing to rush to get more business coming in. So while I'd like to see this as a positive, I would totally caution entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, not to make the mistake we often see job seekers making, of thinking it's an easy DIY. Or they think resumes are easy DIYs, or as one said on a post I have on LinkedIn I think I wrote it yesterday, a job seeker was like, I'm a software engineer who's unemployed. Why should I spend $1,000? Why should I spend $1,000? And to me, that's kind of flawed logic, because yes, I can totally respect the situation of being unemployed and out of money. But on the same note, and then we're not going to penalize this person for not having pre-planning or knowledge of career services. But if you're really good at what you do as a resume writer or career coach, you likely have many success stories about how quickly your clients get back to work. And software engineers, I mean, I haven't worked with a software engineer since I closed my private practice in 2009, but back then I was working with software engineers who were making six figures. So to spend $1,000 on something that gets me back to work before I'm impoverished or gets me out of that cycle seems like a really awesome thing. And the same thing applies here is it can get really scary if, we're there's inflation and, there's other issues that feel like they're impacting you. And so you draw in your belt, but often less isn't more. And while outsourcing can cost money, especially for things like complicated quiz funnels or technical elements that have a big learning cycle for you, like maybe an autoresponder series, hiring an expert to get that marketing going is actually going to have high ROI, just like vetting and finding the right career coach or resume writer is going to have high ROI for a job seeker and hopefully stop that cycle. So plus outsourcing, it frees up your time and your stress and lets you focus on what you enjoy, which is probably providing your services versus marketing your services. So just food for thought. So if anybody's willing to participate, I'm not seeing anybody yet, but why don't you let me know in the chat if you're outsourcing any part of your marketing. You don't have to say specifically what, but let me know if you are or if you're thinking of doing so. Okay, let's move to our next chart here. Okay, so this is a correlation between number of marketing methods used and success. Really, the question is there a correlation? Now, this is methods used consistently for the past 6 months and not limited to just what was the most successful strategies. That's going to be most successful and least successful will be the topic of a future show. But this is something we always break down to see what we might learn from it. And I'm going to say we could say that this data either tells us everything or it tells us nothing. I personally found it was telling. Those with increasing revenue were open to experimentation and getting out of their comfort zone. That group tried more in the 7 to 10 methods, 11 to 15 methods, and honestly was the only one trying 16 to 20 methods. Now, let's be real here, that trying lots of things could be very overwhelming, counterintuitive, lead to burnout. There's just, that could be very stressful. I'm not saying, do all the things. It's better to do a few things really, really well. But if they're not paying back in ROI, then they're probably not the right things or they're not being done as well as they need to be being done. There are models, though, also, like what I was doing before I closed my practice. Well, I had ghostwriters, but something I see today is, you're trying to balance the amount of time that goes into marketing a practice today and trying to provide the services. Some people who don't outsource the marketing part are choosing to do that and obviously work with talented subcontractors to actually do the work. But, that's only going to be a good choice if you're okay with letting go of the services you started your business to provide and you're effective at managing others. I don't want to honestly see anyone just being busy for busy's sake. But it's very clear that those who have declining revenue in this data seem to mostly, except for a small percentage, be stuck repeating what used to work for diminishing returns today. So I would say that what matters most is being open to change, being willing to try new things, and not staying stuck in old ways and old habits that aren't paying off. Again, you don't have to be doing all the things. Just pick what works best and stick with it. And if it doesn't work, please either do something else or get help to do it right. I can't say that strongly enough. The pattern, the hamster wheel I see so many people in this industry get on, where they have the mentality of business owner versus entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a chameleon. They can pivot. They're hungry to take on the next challenge. And if we just keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, we know where that it may be getting us. So again, you're silent in that chat today, but why don't you let me know if you're willing to, how many methods you're using in the last 6 months. Okay, let me take the chart down here. So we're done with them. Get my little overlay back on. Okay, so what does this all mean? So in the post-COVID world, sorry, talking so fast and excitedly drives me out really quickly. So the post-COVID world, it continues to change from the way people were making buying decisions. We also have issues of market competition and platform saturation in places like LinkedIn, and then of course AI. The same wake-up call we used when we talked about this topic last year still applies. It's not going to change back. What worked in the past, it either needs a reboot or a complete retooling. You can't continue to keep doing what is not working. This isn't just a market issue in that as soon as the market improves, your business will come flooding back if you're in that small percentage who is, struggling right now. Well, listen, we're definitely seeing a number of businesses. So many have contacted me over the last month to let me know that things are turning around, that they're back to. Somebody actually told me on Monday, the prior month was terrible, and now I'm back to a wait list. I spoke to somebody else the prior week who was like, yep, back to a wait list. So, there is opportunity out there. You just have to be aware that there's a balancing act. You have to step out of the norm. There is really no room left in a crowded market of many underqualified people to do the same thing or be mundane and mediocre if you want to survive. In part, it's good because the whole I can be a resume writer using AI thing is going to die out. You can be a talented and successful resume writer who leverages AI, but you'll never be more than a low-paid, glorified word processor if you rely on AI to do the work for you. You'll also continue to struggle more and more if you don't modernize your approach to marketing, which is what we're talking about today and what we saw so many of the people who did increase their revenue doing in the past year. So, this is not trying to be tough love here, but I really strongly believe that only the strong are going to survive. And my successful members tell me that the strong lean into CDI. The live events included in your, with networking and support, they're included in membership. The Accelerator Plus membership to consult and coach with me. The certifications and awards to stand out from all those certification mill credentials that anybody can earn, and that sadly some people make up even having. We can do this, but we've got to be in it to win it. So this is peculiar for me. I don't think I've had a show in a very long time where people just lurked and didn't participate. But let me ask you, I'll give this one more try. What are you willing to do to keep your entrepreneurial dream alive? That's as easy as giving me a #grow or a #change. And celebrate if you've already been making changes, if things are being great for you. Maybe give me a #killing it. Okay, so what's coming next? Listen, I know in some cases I've left you with more questions than answers. What happens next, Laura? Where should I be focusing my marketing, Laura? For today, I need you to just let it sink in that you need to change if what you're doing isn't working. You can't wait this out. And I know you'd think that next week I'd be sharing information on what's working and what's not. That was the plan, but I'm not doing that. I promise I will be. We're going to return to that. But I've got something very timely that I need to do over the next 2 weeks. So next Wednesday, we're actually going to be announcing the Tory Toast of the Resume Industry Award winners at our regular show time. And then once I finish celebrating all of them, we will be putting the winning resumes instantly online for people to be able to view, learn from, talk about, whatever. And then the following week, I'm going to be unveiling the 3 new courses that we're going to be launching at great rates for Cyber Week. If you've ever been with us for Cyber Week, you know that I just somehow lose my mind after putting hundreds of hours into developing things. I go, let's basically give them away. And so 2 of those programs are actually live, and all of them are incredibly relevant for those of you who want to change the game for your business in 2025. So I'm excited for both shows, but I promise in December we'll go back to talking about marketing and what's working and what's not. So you can spend that holiday time shaking up what you're doing to be as effective as possible. So start telling yourself, I'm ready and willing to change. I'm willing to get scrappy, get out of my comfort zone, and make my business work. I understand there is no room for being mundane or mediocre, and I'm ready to shine bright like a diamond. Okay, I know, starting to do song lyrics here. So if you're going to shine, give me a hashtag shine. If you're going to be scrappy, give me a hashtag scrappy in the chats. Okay, so when we publish this replay tomorrow morning, on that page, we will have the slides available for download for our association members. And we will also have a variety of deep dive resources, many of which are free, targeted prior shows related to what's working in marketing and the how-tos and the whatnots that you can access as a taste test of CDI. We'll also link to our related member resources. If you want to make sure you receive those emails, the best thing to do is to go over to the CDI website and visit our free stuff page. On that page, when you opt in for any of the resources, you are added to the list. And yeah, you can unsubscribe whenever you want, but hey, free advice, resources, and tools to your inbox is a pretty sweet deal. On the free stuff page, you'll see an opportunity to join our community. You'll see numerous lessons and deep dive resources that are a taste test for membership. And that we have literally had people join because they said, and you'll see a couple quotes on there about how successful the free stuff allowed them to be before they even joined. But listen, there is a lot on that page. We probably give away too much, but we recognize that different people come with different needs and at different levels. So we want to make sure there's something that gives you a leg up in this process of looking at CDI. There is a great quiz on the page that will help you not only get clear on the number one thing blocking you from a 6-figure income in this industry, but it will also curate a number of the tips on that page and tell you where you should be starting with the free resources, which is a pretty cool thing. So do that and you'll be sure to get emails. And then of course, I can't encourage you enough, go over to the join page while you're on the site at careerdirectors.com because our membership is currently open through Cyber Week. We are in open enrollment versus a wait list. So if you want the opportunity to get done for you job seeker tips that are white labeled so you can brand them and give them away or sell them, if you want the monthly networking and webinars that we put on and access to our on-demand library and support and everything else that makes CDI absolutely an amazing global professional association for resume writers and career coaches, you'll get in here now. Bust that mundane and mediocre concerns and start flying higher. So I hope to see you next week, and I hope to see you in CDI. Thank you for joining me, and have a great rest of your day.